Okay, good evening, everybody. As Ainsley has said to you that I am his other partner. Somebody said earlier, I think when they introduced themselves, or they said, oh, there's your other half. Normally it's the wife whose name is, but in this case, in this partnership, Ainsley is the other half. So yes, people, we have been together since October of last year when we got chatting. And as I was introduced to this group, it was the third attempt for me to have a partner. So I was very excited when Ainsley knocked on my door one day and said, yeah, I am going to be your partner for this project. So Partners of Possibility has made it possible for us to be partners. And when we initially started our conversation, the thoughts that we ran through is the following, and this is our journey. It was first thoughts and talks which we got going, and then we decided on the balanced scorecard, which Ainsley will expand on, and then adapting the balanced scorecard for Kroneberg, and then some publicity, and then the way forward. And this is where we are going to be sharing with you tonight how far we have come through this year.
So just when we first started talking, Yul and I, about a year ago, we agreed that it was probably, hi, good evening, welcome. It's probably better to try and narrow the conversation, because otherwise we would end up talking about the Stormers, you know, their sort of dismal performance, and we'll end up talking about the weather, about crime, about President Zuma and all of these stuff. So we thought that let's move from wide to narrow, and let's try and understand and agree to those things that we want to discuss every time when we see sort of one another. And of course that's very difficult if you're like me and you have very little understanding of the education space. So, you know, lots of help from you and also from the COP. We kept talking about a need for a plan which would include both, you know, leadership styles and, you know, management. So what we then did was we thought it's probably much better to try and distill the hundreds of different issues that are out there and try and pack them nicely together so that it makes sense and that you actually come up with a plan. And that's how we decided on the balanced scorecard. It's just simple. It's just a very useful, you know, management tool to allow you to actually navigate all the issues and build in some performance measures so that you can actually show that you can deliver some progress. So all we did was we listed a couple of objectives after some long conversations up until deep in December, if I recall correctly, last year. And really the way it works is you have these 4 elements that make up the balanced scorecard, and under each element, whether it's the customer, in our case it's the learners and the parents, you would say, I would have an objective. I'm going to measure myself against that objective. This is how I'm going to do it, and these are these initiatives, you know, or these are the targets that I set for myself, and these are the sort of, you know, different initiatives. It's a very well-known management tool. It comes from the United States by Professor Norton and Kaplan, and we just thought that this might be a very useful tool. So this is what we did. Very briefly, we said, who's the customer? The customer is the learner or the parent, and we said we have a number of objectives, and you will take you through those now, and just to make it sort of nice and coherent and try and package all our thoughts together. Over to you, Yul. No, just hand this back to you.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Yes, we set out and we chatted for a very long time before we got our plan set. And we came up with, this is just one part of the plan, and that is looking at the customer. And we looked and said, to achieve our vision, how should we appear to our customers? And the objectives that we have, there's some objectives, I'm not going to go through every one of them, but I look at the number 3 there of the objectives, greater parent involvement in learners' homework. And the measurement there is number 3 there, parents to sign learners' homework and to teachers to check if they are signed, and then target that 3 parents, 50% of learners' homework should be signed by the parents. And then the initiative there was the objective is communicated to the teachers, and the teachers to manage the goal of obtaining 50% signed homework. And that is the principle on which we worked on with various of the topics and the projects that we wanted to tackle. So looking at the learner and the parent as the customer, we were wanting to target them and see how we could assist the educators in improving something like homework that is not signed. And if you look at my school, we have 60% of the learners come not from Kensington, but the school is based in Kensington, and the learners, 60% of them travel into the school. And many of those parents are also not at home by the time the learners come home, and by the time parents do come home, they're just too tired to even bother to look at the child's homework. So homework is very rarely signed or checked by parents. So this is one of the targets that we set ourselves to tackle, and we are still striving to achieve that, but it's something that we've set ourselves. And this is what the balanced scorecard looks like as part of the model that we've been using to develop and improve systems at the school. Because out of this, we're certainly looking at the systems that were in place and how we could improve those systems at the school. Okay. The next aspect that we looked at was, out of the balanced scorecard, which we initially chatted about, I then sat down and looked at how could we remodel the whole balanced scorecard approach, scorecard to suit the very needs of the school. And we brought it down to two aspects, the academic side and then the human side, as to how we're going to go forward in measuring what we are doing at the school. And we looked at the academics and said, how can we improve the learner performance, the teacher performance, and to achieve academic excellence? After all, our school's motto says, sowing the seeds of excellence. So we're wanting to strive to achieving academic excellence. And then also, what is the campus culture at the school? Is the culture at the school of such a nature that learners would want to be there, that parents want to be there, that community members want to be there? So out of that, we've narrowed them down to those 4 key things that we'll be looking towards in the future. And then from a human perspective, we looked at prejudice. What prejudice are there at the school? Do we have, are we really, what is our picture to the community out there? What is our picture to the parents? How do the parents see the school? We've got a diverse culture of learners at the school. So the parent community is diverse as well. What is it? Are there things that we are missing? Or are we prejudicing the different cultures by pushing one culture? And that is what we were looking at. And then inclusions, out of that inclusions, how are we going to include those parents? How are we going to include the community into the program? And then equity as well, and openness. How equitable are we as far as staffing is concerned in comparison to the different diverse cultures of the learners? And how can we improve on that? And how open are we to parents to, in actual fact, step onto the premises onto the campus, and the two, they marry there where the campus culture is concerned? How open are we to parents? Or do parents just see us as where they drop the children at the gate and off they go? And are we really open to them coming and being part of the school? And out of that, the community services and engagements, do we really serve the community? The community of the school, the parent community, and then also the physical community around the school. Our school is surrounded by industry. We're in the heart of industry in Kensington. So our immediate neighbors are factories and industry. There's one neighbor across the road who is in actual fact and she's the local spaza shop there for the industries. But that's the closest that we come to engaging with the community itself. So how are we really portraying ourselves to the community around there, and how engaging are we to the community? So these are things that we are looking to work on, and to see how we can become a school that is going to be sowing seeds of excellence within Kensington, in the Kensington area. Then some publicity. You want to continue with that? Okay. There we've got some publicity that we've had. We've had some publicity as far as the partnership is concerned within the Sanlam publication, where we were exposed to some publicity as far as the media was concerned. Out of the publicity which we don't have up there as well, the school, I was on the Espresso show to promote a program there that a NGO that is also involved in the school, Blisters for Bread for the Peninsula School Feeding Association, and it's all parts and ways in which we are wanting to go and make the rest of Cape Town aware of us, and the rest of South Africa aware of the school. So that was also very good to be able to engage on that level. Our learners also throughout this year, as part of our project that we're busy, they were exposed to Feed a Dream, which they were participants of, where companies through all over Cape Town made dreams for learners come true. Learners who had never been on a boat, had a boat trip in the waterfront, in the harbour. The fire department came to visit because some learners wanted to be firemen. And then others wanted to just ride a bicycle. Simple little thing. We take it so much for granted that children ride bicycles. And it was one of the dreams of one of the children when they came to fetch him to take them out to ride their bicycles out on the promenade in Greenpoint. The boy could not even ride a bicycle. He could not ride that bicycle. And it was just so heartwarming to see where learners' dreams were made true. And we even had the ex-Miss South Africa, Cindy Nell, there, because little girls wanted to be princesses. And she came out and just spent the day with them and shared that moment with them, and they could be princesses for those 2 hours, and she just engaged with them, and that was lovely. And this is what out of the partnership, these are the kinds of things that we want to hit home to the learners. We're wanting to touch them and make their lives a lot better, and Partners for Possibility is making that possible for us through the partnership that we have forged there. So yes, that is it.
That's our story.
You? Thank you very much.